12 years. 12 years of this thing existing. 8 years of it airing. 4 years since it ended. All the praise and culture and craziness going on around it. All the love it got. And I held strong. Telling myself, no, I do not have to watch this stupid thing. My reasons are my own and I don't have to tell you. Fine, I'll say it. Early on, my reasons for not watching Game of Thrones was me trying to be all hip and non-pop culture-y. I don't know, man, for some reason I don't like getting into stuff that are too popular. I didn't get into Lord of the Rings until 2022. Someone forced me into watching Harry Potter, and I've never seen anything Star Wars. So I guess Game of Thrones was part of that gang. And later on, even though I did become interested in it, I stopped myself because I found out that everyone hated the ending. So I didn't want to get into a show and get all invested just so I can get pissed like everyone else in the end. That is, until 2023 came around, and my stupid ass decided to go ahead and get a girlfriend, who convinced me to watch it with her. And boy oh boy, am I mad. I got invested within the first episode and I immediately knew I'm fucked. But I never could have predicted how stupid this thing actually got. How the hell did an amazing political drama built on brilliant intricacies and strong characters stoop so low and ruin its characters so badly? I'm here to rant, and it's gonna be an angry one, so brace yourself. Now, as Game of Thrones is such a gigantic cultural phenomenon, I knew a lot about the show before getting into it. By the way, this is a spoiler-filled video, but I'm doing you a favor anyway. I knew many things. I knew about Ned Stark's death, I knew about the Red Wedding, Joffrey's death, Jon being a Targaryen, his relationship with his aunt, and yet still, this show kept surprising me and captivating me. Up until this stupid shit. So I have the right to be angry. This never should have happened. But anyway, like this video because I might lose my voice in this one. Good, thank you. Now, Seasons 1, 2, 3, and 4 of Game of Thrones are a complete masterpiece, no doubt about that. You got the first season with the introduction to this world of Westeros as a brutal, unforgiving kingdom through the lens of Ned Stark, the only honorable man in it. And as we all know, he pays the price for that. Watching the first season, knowing that Ned was gonna die, I was imagining I'm gonna quit the show when he does, because I thought the show doesn't work without him. But watching the following seasons one by one, I cannot imagine a single one of them where Ned Stark can work. Ned Stark is the catalyst of all the events that transpire moving forwards in the show, and it's sad, but he had to die. That was the only way. Follow that up with Season 2 where Tyrion is leading in what in my opinion is his best season. Going into Blackwater Bay and the geniusity of that battle is just beautiful. After that, Season 3 with furthering the development of all the characters, along with the ending of two major ones, Robb and Catelyn Stark. The Red Wedding is still such a beautiful event. And I know it's fucked up to call something called the Red Wedding literally because of all the blood in it beautiful, but I don't care. Sue me. Moving into Season 4 with the ending of this little bitch and the last truly great moments of this little bitch. Truly, Season 3 and 4 have two of the most amazing and beautifully acted scenes in TV history. Jaime talking about his slaying of the Mad King, and Tyrion's I did not kill Joffrey scene. To me, these two actors are just leagues above most of who stand in the world of Game of Thrones, and that's saying something. But then, we start going into Shitsville. Not quite there, but getting close. There was a bit of a drop in quality in Season 5 of Game of Thrones. In my opinion, the plot lines themselves were just not as interesting, and to me that was really the only problem. The characters were still fantastic, going down the right track and everything. Season 6 is where the showrunners go off book, and as we all well know, when that happens, things go way south. Season 6 is where Game of Thrones starts to feel a bit like a different show. The once slow-paced drama/political thriller became the snip-snip actiony, crazy, and very fast-paced show. In the early seasons, it would take characters a full season to do one thing, basically. Season 6 sees them travel through multiple spaces across hundreds of miles in these 10 episodes. But that's nothing compared to Season 7, where just Jon Snow alone, in one season, goes from Winterfell to Dragonstone, something that probably would have taken more than one season to happen back in the old days. He did it now in one episode. But we're still not done. Going from Dragonstone, back to the north, further beyond the wall to get a White Walker and back down again. All in 7 episodes. That's insane. We're talking about thousands of miles of traveling here. Season 7 is also the one where characters truly start to suffer. We'd already been seeing it before, but Tyrion Lannister, the supposedly smartest character in the show, becomes the dumbest bitch on the planet, giving Daenerys dumb plan after dumb plan and all of them failing. The guy who hates his sister more than anything and knows she is batshit crazy spends 2 seasons trying to reason with her. One of the most blatant examples of bad writing happens in the show when Jon and Daenerys meet. See, they meet around episode 4 of season 7. And by the next episode, for no reason whatsoever, Tyrion starts talking to his queen, and Sir Davos starts talking to his king about the glances they've been exchanging, about the vibes they've been having, about the tension they've been having. Literally, the most blatant example. You know in writing they tell you about the rule, show, don't tell? Well, this is the most obvious example of the opposite of that. This is tell, don't show. Because up until these guys said anything, nothing whatsoever is noticed between Jon and Daenerys. But the showrunners had to hurry along because we got a show to finish because we want to make Star Wars. Oh man, this pisses me off so much. Then you have freaking Cersei, who's just the most annoying piece of shit ever created. I hate her so much, but she had a great character. Why did they have to turn her into a black and white villain? The whole point of Game of Thrones is morally gray, ambiguous characters. Remember the Battle of Blackwater Bay? Remember not knowing who to cheer for because King's Landing has piece of shit Joffrey, but there's the moral dilemma of Stannis attacking a city full of with innocent people? I miss that, but season 8 is truly where shit hits the fan. You got a first episode that is boring, a second episode that is pretty nice but is basically just nice character moments, and the rest is dog shit. The Long Night is truly the most disappointing ending to one of the most menacing villains in the whole show. A battle where you can barely see anything. Honestly, The Long Night, the battle that's supposed to be the best one shot in the show, is just about the worst one. It's not that it's that bad, it's that it's too freaking mediocre for a show like Game of Thrones. Especially for one of the final battles of a show like Game of Thrones. No plans, no strategies, just to fend off hordes of stupid ice zombies like this is the Avengers. And Arya being chosen to kill off the Night King with one stab, to me is basically a nice fuck you from the showrunners to the fans. There are two people that should have been involved in the end of the Night King. Those are Jon Snow or Bran Stark. Either or could have worked. Or both. Jon Snow is more personally related to the issue, and I think him killing the Night King would have been nice. But the Night King should not die by a mere mortal man anyway, so it should have been something branded with his powers. Not stupid-ass Arya sneaking up on him and his knights. And don't try and come at me with the argument of that scene in Season 3 where Melisandre tells her blue eyes whatever. One little piece like that is not nearly enough explanation for the killing of the Night King. Arya was not involved in that storyline whatsoever. I'm pretty sure she hadn't even seen a single White Walker until that episode. I could go on and on about this, but I have to move on or I'll be here all day. The Iron Fleet killing Daenerys' dragon, I'm not even gonna talk about that, it's been memed to death already. But fuck you, man. It's the final season of your show, and you forget? Because you know when he says Daenerys kinda forget about the Iron Fleet, he means to say he kinda forgot about it. That's it, basically. Last season of your show and you don't even pay attention. Then you got the big ones, the Bells and the Iron Throne. I don't want to talk about how stupid it is, what happened in these episodes and how none of it made sense. All of that has been mentioned to death. I actually want to counteract some points people made about this. Now a lot of people say stuff like, Daenerys' whole arc has been building to her breaking the wheel, changing the system, and blah blah blah. Or that Jaime has been building to be freed of Cersei and all that. I completely disagree. Remember, a lot of the stuff that the showrunners did in the ending are stuff that they've been told by George R.R. Martin himself. And there are reasons for that. In my opinion, almost every single plot point of the ending should have stayed the same. Well, not exactly, but the main ones. Okay, maybe not should have, but could have. Mainly Daenerys burning down King's Landing. One thing you need to remember about the series itself, A Song of Ice and Fire, it's not a series about traditional fantasy heroes that fight evil and save the day. It's not the next Lord of the Rings. A Song of Ice and Fire is a grim dark series about the worst of humanity. Characters don't really have good themes. George wanted to break the conventions of fantasy with it. An ending where Daenerys reverts back to her father's ways despite all the efforts she made could have worked out really, really well. The seeds were planted already. They just needed to grow. And therein lies the problem. They never had time to grow. Daenerys did like one little bad thing. It's not really that bad by Game of Thrones standards before the Bells. And everybody in the show acts like we should have seen this coming. No! No one would have. Daenerys should have had at least one more full season of build-up towards this before the burning of King's Landing happened. And that's at the very least. A season where multiple events that propel her towards that position happened. The Bells was made for shock value, and shock value only. King's Landing surrenders and the people ring the bells, and Daenerys burns them anyway. It doesn't make sense. It's a plot twist without any real build-up. We never should have been as shocked as the other characters when it happened. We should have been like, of course. That's the only way it could happen. But that would have taken a lot more work than what the showrunners wanted to put in, so I can go fuck myself, I guess. Same thing goes for Jaime Lannister. If they built it right, he could have come back to Cersei and it would have made sense. He shouldn't have had a happily ever after in Winterfell. Of course not. But the end of Season 7 was the last straw for Jaime. When he made the decision to leave Cersei and go fight with the Northmen, that should have ended their relationship. To me, the most perfect ending for Jaime, that would have been still dark, but in line with his character arc, is if he was the one to kill Cersei. It seemed always destined to be. Bran Stark, king, is the stupidest decision, okay? Fuck you guys, I hate you guys so much. And don't even get me started on Mr. McQueen. He can shut his useless Season 8 ass the fuck up. Game of Thrones was a show built on the back of great writing and amazing characters. And despite these ending seasons still looking magnificently shot and directed, amazingly acted, with incredible music, the writing failed them. The writing went sour and everything else went down along with it. Almost none of the last remaining characters in the show had any remnants of a satisfying character arc. And that's really, really sad. I hate myself for watching this show, but I'm hooked now. I'm in the middle of watching House of the Dragon right now, and I'm picking up the books soon. Life is good. I hate everyone. Watch this video next. See ya.